Here are my top 5 tips in studying the Bible in its original context. Number 1, perspective. Our perspective dictates how we read the text. Often we are trying to prove our theology or to read a story to defend our position. But I want us to step back and try to read this as a grand story, the grand narrative. What is this telling me about God? Why was it written? Who's it written to? Maybe trying to understand the characters in the story. By doing that, it creates a space for us to open up and to read the story in its original context. Number 2, gotta have a notebook. This is mine that I use all the time. And in this notebook, I have one priority, and that is ask questions. That's all I do. I just write down questions when I'm reading the text. I come across something that I don't understand, something triggers my mind to try to research something else. I just want to write down as many questions that I have. It's not about answering the questions. It's about writing the questions down. And then I also want to take this up and review it weekly, monthly, yearly. By doing that, I'll be going back and understanding what the hang-ups I had, or what areas do I really need to study into more because I'm hanging up on that position, or reading that and having that exact same question over and over and over again. But this creates kind of like a journal of the questions that you have when you're reading the text. Before long, you're going to find areas going, man, I need to study that. And by doing that, it works on you. You begin to grow. You mature in that area because you've researched that to better understand the original context based on what your questions are. The third one, having the right Bible. Now, I'm not here to say what Bible is the correct one or what translation is better than the other. That's not the point. To study the Bible in its original context, you need to be matching your area of focus with the type of Bible that you're reading. It really opens the door to dive deeper into these areas. One of them, if you're into languages, maybe you're in the original Hebrew. Maybe that's what you want to study it and often have that one. If not, the NET or the Net Bible came out recently. This one has a lot of focus on the words. And if you're down understanding, read this and looking down on the bottom side of this, you're going to see a ton of notes explaining some of the word structures that are in the text. Maybe you're into geography, and then you can match your reading with something like the Lexham Geographic Commentary. This has phenomenal resources about every little location and story and map and chart that you want based on the geography of the Bible. Maybe you're into culture, and then you can pick up a Bible that's something like the cultural backgrounds. By focusing on the areas that you're interested in, the Bible will become much more interesting to you as you're reading it. Maybe you want to partner your Bible with specific focus. The New Testament in its world. N.T. Wright, Michael Bird created a remarkable resource. Maybe you're more focused on the Jewish context, and then you have the Jewish annotated New Testament. One that I started off many years ago, one of the first steps I did in understanding the biblical context was this one. This is a Holman full color study Bible, and it is a remarkable resource just to have a broader view of the text and adding details as you read along. But by matching your Bible to the areas that you're interested in, geography, literature, languages, visual, all the different aspects of the context really opens doors to you to dive into areas that attach your focus. The fourth one that I really enjoy doing is word studies. And you can take this a bunch of different ways. Obviously, whatever catches your eye, you really want to know more about, do. But focus on certain words that are in the text to open it up. Maybe it's big words like sin or faith. I often do as well with things like speaking, active words, just to better understand it. It really brings the context into focus to get you a better idea. When you start to understand there's over 30 Hebrew words for the concept of sin in the Old Testament, you begin to really play with the nuances and try to understand it. Or you look at faith and realize it's an active verb of emunah, active faith. Those really help you to understand these stories a little bit better as well. And the fifth one is a schedule. Now, my personality hates confinement of schedules. So my personality requires me to set aside time in a day, and it can be any part of that day, to really dive into certain areas. It's different than me just picking up the Bible and reading. No, it's my study time that I'm going to designate to understanding the Bible in its original context. That allows for me to deep dive in areas that I'm fascinated with. I go down the rabbit hole extremely far, and that's my personality. And I want to set some time to let me do that. And then just as a bonus, have fun with it. Dive into it, ask questions, start looking it up, gather a few resources around you, and before long, you're going to discover that this Bible is an amazing, amazing story of God wanting a relationship with man. Hopefully these 5 tips help you in understanding the Bible in its original context just a little bit better.